RedZoneSports.bet, the British home of American sports.
Hello and welcome to the Sports Heads. This is the betting segment of the show. I'm Simon Millen from Lindy's Sports. With me I have from Red Zone Sports the co-founder Warren Lambias, and over there we have Sam, the man, Morgan from The Verge magazine. Now we all like a little bet, some more than others. Obviously I don't bet ever. We're going to have a look at some of the games this week, and Warren has a few little selections. He's gone for the Vikings and the Browns. Now the Browns are 9-point underdogs, and it's the Twickenham game, the last of the four there.
I've covered in the other shows why I like the Browns +9. I think it's going to be a defensive game. I think that the Browns will be a little bit released from not playing in front of the dog pound and their own fans, and they're not going to have to contend with a very loud away fans, home fans to play against. You know, it's going to be a fairly neutral stadium. I dare say that with the way that they pump the sound around trying to make it a real home game, I think that will give them a little bit of freedom. I think it'll be a low scoring game, and I think a +9 line is too high, so I would take that at 10 to 11. Okay, the Browns have only ever won back-to-back meetings once. They're obviously the dogs. They're aiming to do this for the second time. The Vikes have a 4-2 record in Cleveland, although it's not in Cleveland, it is a Cleveland home game, so that still counts. And they've won 4 of the last 5 See, I'm not sure that does count, because if it's in Twickenham, if they're saying it's in Cleveland, I'm not sure it counts.
Slightly different.
They've also lost Joe Thomas at left tackle, which is, you know, he's had about 1 million games for them, and they've got no receivers. They've had 3 quarterbacks in the last game. I can't really see the Browns living with them, but I'm going to take the under. I'm going to take the unders is 38. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I think very similar to you. Yeah, I think it'll be a low-scoring game. I don't like an unders that low myself, just in case, you know, you get a pick six or something like that. But all these games have been blowouts. Is there any reason to think this one won't be?
This is, I've told you, I'm praying that this is going to be a closer game.
You under 38?
Under is 38 points.
I think it'll be higher than you think, actually, with this game. I think I've seen just from the London games, just when anyone's watched them, sometimes if they start off a little bit slow, fair enough. But I'd actually say it could end up being high scoring. You say it's neutral.
I don't
both offences might.
I don't think it'll be a high scoring game, but I wouldn't touch an under 38 line myself. Although the clever guys back there would be saying that it's there for a reason, and so that's why it's set there. I wouldn't touch it. I don't like under 38, but +9 points in a neutral venue, I quite like that.
Okay. Falcons at the Jets. Now, the Jets are 4.5-point dogs here at home.
And that's why I would take the Jets.
Yeah, you take the Jets.
I'd take the Jets because the Falcons have looked pretty poor. Okay. And whatever's happened to them on offense, they're not the same team. You're giving a home dog. Now the Jets can't seem to hold a lead. I'm not saying that, but the Falcons got 7 points against the Patriots, who are meant to be the worst defense in football still, and they couldn't score a single point, could they? Against the Finns in the second half. I can't remember what it was exactly, but. So I think the Jets +4.5 at home.
2017.
I think they can certainly not get. I don't think the Falcons would cover the spread. I'm not even sure the Falcons win the game.
Yeah, I'm going with the Jets on that one. I wouldn't knock that.
Okay. Just to say, the Falcons have lost 2 of the last 3 trips to New York, but their record there is 3-2. Third downs for me is a real problem for the Falcons, and certainly in the, you know, they've converted 53.6 something or other percent in the red zone. So that's, you know, that puts them about 18th in the league. So their issues really are just basically in the red zone, short yardage situations as well. They just cannot seem to get, you know, the shaky. I think there's a little bit of shaky play calling in third down situations, short yardage especially. You know, they were averaging 33.8 points per game last year. They're nowhere near it this year. It's about 21, just over 21 points a game. Tevin Coleman, they need to get him involved more. This is the issue with him. They're not getting him involved at the moment. He had about 4 targets in 2 games out of the backfield. You know, and distance. I mean, out of 23, I think he was targeted 23 completions. Well, sorry, 23 attempts over 20 yards. 4 balls were called. You know, and this is the issue they've got. There's a timing issue, I think, with Matt Ryan and his receivers. I mean, you know, Julio Jones has missed time, Taylor Gabriel's missed time. Much as we were saying, he scores touchdowns earlier, but there is definitely a timing issue with their long yardage situation. I think they'll get it together, and I think I'm going to go and see Atlanta in a couple of weeks against Dallas. Over there, so I'm hoping that Atlanta will pick their ideas up for them.
This is a perfect game for them to get back on track.
I fancy the Falcons. I will take those
with minus 4.5.
Yeah, I'll take it. The under/over is 46, which is an interesting line. It's about where it should be.
Yeah, I mean, well, all these are about where they should be really, because that's, you know, the guys that make the lines. They know what they're doing. But
you make your own. With me as a punter, I'd make my own lines first and then look at the lines after.
Oh yeah, well, it's a very good way to do it, by the way. But on the overs unders, you know, I think that's about bang on. But I wouldn't touch it myself. I would just stick. I like the Jets plus 4.5.
Contradicting as always.
Yes, contradicting you though.
Well, that's nothing new.
It's better when I not contradict myself. But yeah.
Bears at the Saints. That's a really fascinating game. I think this
love
line
the
is
Bears.
massively too
No.
high.
I love the Bears. I'm telling you. Yeah,
9 points.
9 points.
9 points. Yeah.
Look, I know the Saints are scoring for fun, but I like the Bears plus 9. I think there's something magic going on there. I think yes. Does everyone expect them to turn up when the Saints blow them up? Yes. This could be a trap game.
Will they pass it more than 4 times? This is the question.
I think that John Fox is conservative. You know, that's the thing. But
you stack the box. This is simple. It's very simple.
Stop talking
simple to
badly
game
of
plan.
the Bears.
I'm not a Bears fan.
Warren.
I'm not a Bears fan. I've got to believe that our bet's still alive. No, I think the Bears are turning a corner. I don't think that's a 9-point line. So therefore, I will take the Bears.
The interesting thing for me is since Mitch Trubisky's come in, rookie quarterback, you know, they've stacked the line against the Bears, and yet the Bears have still been running the ball.
Yeah. And the thing you've got to remember with these high lines, the reason why I always like backing a team with a high line, is the other team only has to win by one point, 2 points. They don't care.
Yeah.
They don't care about covering the line. Believe me, I've lost enough money with watching New England Patriots to call some strange stuff in the past where you go, they don't care, they win the game, that's all they care about. And so I think, and then so they'll quite often go soft in the last quarter and let someone score a touchdown because it's
as they did against Detroit.
Yeah,
that was almost an embarrassment.
Yeah.
The over-unders is really high, 47.5.
Yeah.
Now that suggests to me it's going to be another. You know, the line makers are obviously looking at New Orleans and thinking, well, they're probably going to cover that number alone.
Well, you know, again, it's like I say, unless I see a one that I think is way too low or way too high, I don't tend to touch the overs unders. You know, there are clever people out there to do that, and I'm probably not one of them.
Sam, who you got?
I'm going with the Saints.
Saints to cover.
You're going to go for the Saints minus 9 points.
Yep.
No, sorry, to win the game, Saints. But we're on that betting and what that line that you've given. Then yes, okay, I'll go with the Bears just to make you happy.
There you go.
Yeah.
My job is not to make you happy. My job is to make money. I'm on the Saints all over the Saints.
Minus 9.
Mitch Trubisky. There you go. That's my answer.
I'm sure I've had to give you some bonus love from the last
Indianapolis Colts against the Cincinnati Bengals. They go into the Bengals as 10.5-point dogs.
Now, there's you know, I think you're starting to see my betting pattern here again.
Do we need to carry on?
No, I mean, it's just the fact that the Bengals don't have to win by 10 points. They don't care. They don't care how many points they win by.
Yeah.
The Colts have been blown out late in games. They seem to be they make themselves quite relevant against the Titans. You know, I was up watching that game and I was like, oh, okay, they're doing okay here. And then suddenly they
there's
fall
a reason
away.
for that. It's the offense, not the offense not getting off the field.
And then again with the Seahawks, same thing. So yeah, and so I just think that the Bengals might have clicked and be back to where they were before, but you know, I still think they've got some points to prove.
Yeah, the tackles are both improving. They're young. You know, they obviously.
The pressure's on them to win the game. As I said, they don't need to win by 10 points. That's why I like that bet.
Colts have lost. I love my statistical trend things. Yep. The Colts have lost 3 of the last 4, but they've never lost 3 on the spin there. So I might just be taking the Colts with those points.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a great believer in what happened last season or this season particularly makes a difference, unless you're going somewhere like Foxborough, where everyone thinks, oh my God, we're going against the Patriots, you know, and suddenly it's But I think in terms of just, you know, the Colts travelling to the Bengals, it's not like it's a divisional game. I don't think that will make much of a difference. But I do think a high line like that The Bengals. If the Bengals were the Patriots, maybe you'd go, I'd leave it alone. But they're not. They're the Bengals. So
I think it'll be a closer game than people. You know, I don't think Bengals are going to run away. And like you're right, they'll just want to win the game, and I don't think they'll care.
Yeah,
we
all any given Sunday.
Here?
Yeah, any given Sunday league.
Oh, you know what's going to happen.
They're all going to blow up.
Yeah. If we're in agreement, you know exactly which way to go there. 49ers at the Eagles. We spoke a little bit about this earlier. The Eagles are 12.5-point favourites. I know West Coast to East Coast is never easy. The Niners have won the last six of the last 8 trips to Philly, though. There's a stat for you.
It's the same logic for me. It's a 12.5-point line. It's not rocket science. You know, the easy thing, you know, punters that back favourites, you know, betting companies love that. You know what I mean? I would back the underdog here. 12. I think
they were abject against. They were really abject against the Dallas Cowboys last week.
They were, but look at them the week before
at
against
home.
the Skins.
Yeah.
They, you know, I thought they were going to knock me out of last man standing. I survived another.
You know, but it may be the fact that they've had to go to East Coast to play Washington. They've come back. It's a tiring week. They've got to play Dallas, who are, you know, up for it. You know, and they've got to go all the way back over to Philadelphia again. To me, that takes some doing. I'm going to be all over Philly. I'm going to take that big line.
Minus 12 and a half.
Minus 12 and a half, and I'd be confident with it too.
You listen to me for betting.
I'm listening to you for that one. I'm definitely listening to you for this one. Simon, no.
I'm telling you, you know, I will wear some next time I'm on some comedy glasses or something if all of those big lines get covered. I'm telling you, at least 2 or 3 of those.
I think we can do better than glasses.
I'm not taking all of them.
You know, I'm siding with you on this one. But
what bet did you lose? Oh, sorry.
A couple of dogs. I've got a couple of dogs for you. Just they're going to throw these 2 at you. I'm going to throw these 2 at you. Children, come on. Washington +2 at home to Dallas. Interesting line, that one.
I like that.
Dallas and Washington. Which one do you fancy?
It's a coin flip game to me. I once lost a load of money on back in the Dallas Cowboys when Colt McCoy was quarterbacking.
There's
for the Skins.
your answer.
Yeah, and so I think it's always a coin flip game.
Yeah.
And I think 2.5-point dogs at home. I'll be going with the Redskins.
West Coast to East Coast again. They come off a big win in San Francisco. Dallas has won the last 5 trips at Washington and 6 of the last 8 overall. So they love playing in Washington. Big divisional rivalry. Yeah. I'm going to take Washington +2.
Yeah, I've got it at 2.5 on our odds, and I think that will be a game that will be to and fro. And so,
who you got, Sam?
Go with it.
I'm going to side with Simon on this one just to be nice, but.
He's siding with me.
Oh, you are? Okay, that's for me, it's a game that's it's like a nothing game for me. I'm not really excited about it.
Cowboys versus the Redskins is a nothing game.
No, for me, it's a nothing game.
That's why you need a bet. Make it come alive.
No, you're trying to sign me up.
You need to pick a real team.
Yeah, that's it.
Carolina +2 at Tampa Bay. Now, Carolina have not lost back-to-back trips to Tampa since their first 2 trips in 2002. A lot of turmoil going on in Carolina.
Yeah.
But they're getting 2 points. I don't see it.
No, I don't see it either, because Tampa, they're good on offense, but something's not right about them. They could have won a couple of games, but I think in their DNA they are almost built to lose. You know, at the moment they're not. I think for Jameis Winston, they're going to get there, but it's not there yet. And I would be the Panthers are a Jekyll and Hyde team, and I think at the moment everyone's having a go at Cam. We were talking about this before, and I think sometimes that brings out the best in them. And when coming off a chastening loss like last week, I think they might just get it done.
Panthers all the way.
I'd probably pack that without the points and do it on the money line actually, and get a little bit better value.
Yeah. Okay. Right, that's week 8 of the NFL for you. We've had some of the games covered from the betting point of view. Hope you enjoyed it. Keep joining us on SportsHeads. We'll see you soon.
American football and my hot cheerleaders. It'll make you feel like a Yank. RedZoneSports.bet, the British home of American sports.